Now, what do you get when you have three spy masters in a televised parliamentary hearing? Well, first you get some history. The chiefs of MI5, MI6 and GCHQ have never done this sort of thing before. Then you could watch it all live on television. Well, almost. There was a 2-minute delay just in case the chiefs inadvertently revealed a state secret that had to be erased from the tape. And finally, you got a justification for mass surveillance from the very people conducting it. 34 thwarted terror plots in the last 8 years, they claimed. Now, that should shut up the critics. But has it? Here's our political editor, Gary Gibbon.
In from the world of shadows as never before. The heads of Britain's 3 intelligence services today were in public together for the first time and open to questions.
This evidence session is being broadcast with a short time delay. This is a safety mechanism to allow us to pause the broadcast if anything is inadvertently mentioned which might endanger national security.
Andrew Parker has been MI5 chief since April, after more than 30 years in the domestic security service.
The suggestion that somehow what we do is somehow compromising freedom and democracy, of course we believe the opposite to be the case.
Sir John Sawers has been MI6 chief for 4 years and has had a more public career as a former ambassador.
We have to identify and recruit agents in the most exposed places, in the higher reaches of Al-Qaeda.
Sir Ian Loban has been director of GCHQ, the electronic eavesdropping agency, since 2008, and he's worked there for 30 years.
If I've got that haystack, I'm looking for needles, I'm looking for fragments of needles. That's what my queries pull out. I do not look at the surrounding hay.
The GCHQ boss was denying claims by the American intelligence contractor Edward Snowden that US and UK intelligence snooped on all private emails. The intelligence chief said they only looked at emails of special interest. But they said leaks revealing their eavesdropping techniques were being read by terrorists and making them change tactics.
Leaks from Snowden have been very damaging. They put our operations at risk. It is clear that our adversaries are rubbing their hands with glee. Al-Qaeda is lapping it up.
We have actually seen chat around specific terrorist groups, including closer to home, discussing how to avoid what they now perceive to be vulnerable communications methods, or how to select communications which they now perceive not to be exploitable. I am not going to compound the damage by being specific in public. I'm very happy to be very specific in private.
We will ask you in private, but could it just to be clear, are you saying this is information which, from the way they have expressed themselves, refers to the revelations that have appeared in the press over the last 2 or 3 months?
It is a direct consequence, yes.
You can say that explicitly?
Yes, I can say that explicitly. And so the cumulative effect of the media coverage, global media coverage, will make the job that we have far, far harder for years to come.
The GCHQ boss insisted he needed access to email traffic so his team could swoop on the dangerous communications.
We don't want to delve into innocent emails and phone calls. And I feel I have to say this, I don't employ the type of people who would do. My people are motivated by saving the lives of British forces on the battlefield. They're motivated by finding terrorists. But if they were asked to snoop, I wouldn't have the workforce. They'd leave the building.
The head of MI5 said British people in the low hundreds were going to join the jihadist forces in Syria, some coming back to attack in Britain. He said dozens of terrorist plots had been disrupted since 2005.
There have been 34 plots toward terrorism that have been disrupted in this country at all sizes and stages. I've referred publicly previously, and my predecessors have, to the fact that 1 or 2 of those are major plots aimed at mass casualty that have been attempted each year.
Life imitated art today. The latest James Bond movie put the intelligence boss M in front of a parliamentary committee a year before it happened.
So it's a job well done. Well, I'm not saying it's all gone perfectly.
There will be people out there who've watched select committees in the past and seen MPs, peers, really knock their witnesses around a bit, really poke at them and argue with them. That didn't happen here. Some people might think it looked a little bit cosy.
Well, there wasn't time for much knocking around, really. There was a lot of ground to cover in a short time. And, of course, we couldn't get into secret areas.
As recently as 1992, you weren't even meant to know the name of the head of MI5. Until 19 years ago, you weren't meant to know who works in that building. The government didn't even acknowledge the existence of MI6. So today was a real milestone in the emergence from the shadows of the intelligence services. And their joint message was they don't want to come out of the shadows much more. And they deeply resent and regret that leaks have advertised their techniques, as they see it, to the enemy and made it much more difficult for them to disrupt terrorist plots. Gary Gibbon, Channel 4 News, at the MI5 headquarters in London.